Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And on this episode, we are over in Unrest with my Cleric, who happens to be, let me show you guys, level 16. And we're going through the level pretty quickly. I mean, we got here when we were level, what was it, 14, right? I think that's the level that we came over here. And we've gotten pretty close to 3 levels in, I don't know, what do you guys say? Probably about 5 hours, 6 hours of footage. I've cut out a little bit here and there, mainly just waiting for groups and things of that sort. But pretty much what you guys have seen has been every step of the way of me leveling up, besides maybe 10 or 15 minutes in between footage for me to get drink water and things of that sort during the days that I actually record. So it actually is incredibly good experience here. You'll level up pretty fast. And let me just go ahead and leave up my inventory so that you guys can see a little bit of how much experience I'm getting at level 16 with the classes I have. Now, certain classes actually add a negative bonus to your experience multiplier. Your paladins are one of those few who do that and have that negative bonus connotation with their class, unfortunately. You must first select. I already thought I did. There we go, Poochie. Give her a heal. But we have a paladin who's AFK right now. We have a rogue who is Poochie. We have a monk right here in front of us who's tanking it for us right now and doing a pretty good job here. We have 2 clerics, me and Karad there in the background, handling the healing. And as you can see, we're getting quite a bit of experience pretty quickly. And the zone is somewhat camped today. I mean, there's 23 people on. I think both sides of the wall are camped. Upstairs is camped. We've had some trouble with trains lately. About a prime time up in the Unrest. Yeah, it's about time. I mean, when I first logged on, I had to wait for about 20-30 minutes just to find a group, and there was only like 10 people on. So yeah, a lot more people are logging on. It's, what time is this? Like 7 or 8 my time. So 19, 7, 8. Yeah, so about 7. Almost 8 o'clock. But depending on what time you log on, you may find more or less people on. So you can kind of, depending on what you want to do that day, design your day around that. So what I mean by that is, if you want to do a lot of soloing and you want to go to a zone that's normally camped, if you log on late at night, you can do that, and there won't be anybody there, and you'll have the whole zone pretty much to yourself. Whereas if you plan on doing that and you log on during the peak hours, well, like you can see here, the zone is pretty camped, and you're not going to have a lot of freedom to just run around and basically harvest the whole zone for whatever the reasons you have behind it. Maybe you need more belts to level up. Maybe you need a special item off of one of the creatures. Maybe you're just doing it because these skeletons killed you when you were way back at a low level, and you just always wanted to give them payback. And tonight's the night. Tonight is the night you wanted to log on, go over to Unrest, pull the entire zone, and just sit there and melee them all down. It's like this big, I gotcha, punk, right? And so if you do that at the right time, you're more than fine. But if you pick a prime time, you're going to have issues with that. So the same thing goes as if you want to get into groups and you log on real late at night, you may not be able to find that many people. It may be kind of difficult for you to get the people you're looking for to start a group. Especially if you're, I can't really say either too low or too high, because sometimes you log on and there's nothing but low levels, and other nights you'll log on late at night and there's nothing but high levels for the 5 or 4 people who are actually in the zone. So you can be too low and you can be too high. It just really depends on who's going to be there. Let me go ahead and loot some of this stuff so you can see what's in here. These pages right here are for enchanters, bone chips again. A stack sells for about 10 platinum over in Eastern Commons, although I'd usually just hang on to them. And then if you find a necromancer who's running short, give it to them, because, I mean, there's nothing worse than having a necromancer in your group and you're just not able to do... Oh, there's a small ring-mailed cape here. It's a little bit not as good as what I'm wearing, and I don't want to be too over-encumbered, so I'm not going to loot that. But You can get a nice little set of ring mail, then bronze over here in this zone if you haven't got one by now. And usually what will happen is you'll join a group early on, like I did with my cleric, and within about 5 to 10 minutes of being in that group and people noticing that your armor is kind of you know, less than what it could possibly be, not that what it should be, but just less than what it could possibly be, most of them will be like, hey, you know, I have an entire backpack full of bronze that's weighing close to 100 pounds. They don't tell you that part. They're just like, I want to get rid of this stuff. And I was going to sell it or make some money off of it to a vendor. I think it goes for 4 or 5 platinum a piece. But instead of doing that, I'll give it to you because you can actually use it. A healer who stays alive longer can heal me longer, and therefore I'll stay alive longer, and it's worth it in the long run. So within about, I think about 20-30 minutes for me of getting here, somebody was giving me almost a full set of bronze. Because it drops here, they have it on them. Most of the time it just sits here and rots. So if you're feeling adventurous and you're low level, you could try to make your way here, and if you're skilled enough, you can do it. I mean, there's not really anything you have to fight to get to this zone. It's just there's a lot of roamers, and you have to, even at the level that I was coming here at level 14, I still had to avoid those roamers. So even if you're level 1 trying to get here, you'll have the same issues I had. So it's not really that big of a deal to come here at level 1. Yeah, the buffs are gone. There's another high-level cleric here who is in my group level 20, I think, so I'm going to let him buff because his will be stronger than mine. His will outweigh mine. They're not that they're doing more, they just, if he decides to cast his on one of the people in our group, his will override mine, so. Casting Clarity Haste in Magus room. I'm not sure where the Magus room is, but it'd be nice if they come down here. Could always use more clarity. Haste doesn't last too long, but it's really, really nice for the tanks, especially if you have an enchanter in your group to cast that constantly over and over and over again. But yeah, if you could make your way here at an early level, I don't like the look of that train. But yeah, if you could make your way here at a lower level and sit at the entrance, and then be like, you know, I'm looking for, you know, chainmail or bronze armor, and you'd be like, I'm paying, you know, 2 or 3 platinum a piece. You could get it a lot cheaper than you would get anywhere else because you're in the zone that it drops. And chances are you could probably get it for free. If you just said, you know, I'm looking for a few extra pairs of chainmail or something like that, just started out, I'm coming over here to get some. You know, most people, for me anyways, I had a whole set extra that I ended up giving to somebody else because I didn't need it. I mean, I like to give back to people as much as I possibly can, just like it was given to me. Back wall, looking for more. And so, when I saw somebody come in who was a cleric and he didn't have very much on him, I gave him the full set. He was thankful and happy about it, just like I was when I got mine, and now he's a little bit better off. Now, again, the downside to bronze and chainmail is incredibly heavy. Not just to wear, but to have on you, period. Where's the biggest room? On the roof. Yeah, good luck on that one. Can I sneak and hide there? She could possibly sneak her way there. Rogues are incredibly gifted when it comes to sneak, but the rest of us wouldn't be able to. Yeah, and I guess the guy on the roof doesn't want to come all the way down here to give it to us. And I've kind of mentioned this in some of the other videos, but I forgot to mention it several times during the earlier sets of videos that I did here in the zone, is a lot of these creatures, the ghouls and some of the higher level skeletons, cannot be hit with weapons that are not magical. So if you have a weapon like this Fine Steel Warhammer, it's a nice weapon that was a gift, and it's pretty good for my level, but it doesn't say magical there anywhere on the top of the weapon, whereas this one right here says magic item, no trade, temporary. And as I said before, temporary just means that if I go link dead or if I camp out, it disappears. It's the summon hammer that I got as one of my spells that I can cast anytime I want. You will see that it's slightly less compared to the one I have right now. They both do 6 damage, but the one I'm wearing does 30 delay, and the temporary one does 32, so it's a little slower. But it is a magical item. So if you're trying to melee one of these ghouls, and it keeps saying they're invulnerable to you, it's because you don't have a magical weapon. And the same goes for your pet. I believe your pet's fists are not considered magical, that you have to have a magical weapon to give them. And you're probably thinking, why would I buy a weapon to give my pet? Then when I zone or he dies, I lose the weapon. Well, you're not going to give him that kind of weapon. What you're going to do is find a mage who can summon some weapons for you. And those are, again, temporary items, but, you know, when you zone or, you know, go link dead, you're going to lose your pet anyway. So it's basically the pet's temporary, the weapons are temporary, it works out perfect. And what people will do is find a mage friend to give them, you know, a backpack full of those weapons when they log on, and then they go their separate ways or something like that, or go to East Commons and find a mage who's willing to summon you a whole bunch of them. Sometimes, though, I'm not quite sure at what level they get them, but I believe a lot of their summon stuff is no trade. And so in those situations, at least some of their high level ones maybe, are no trade, but in those situations they will have to summon them and then give it to your pet. And of course, if you're not in the right zone, you're planning on going someplace else, you're not able to get that. Let's see. Thank you on what? I guess he may have gotten something. Oh, he's trying to loot the corpse just like I was. If you're far enough away from the corpse and you're trying to see what's in it, it will tell you down here on the bottom that this corpse will decay in blah blah blah, whatever amount of seconds, minutes, days. So if you want to see how long it will last, because you're not sure if you should loot it now or if you're going to switch characters and come back over here and loot it with a different one, because you're trying to do a quest that's a little bit too high for you and using your higher level character to help you out, you can check it. I can check the skeleton, 12 seconds before it disappears. This one, 4 minutes. In fact, let me check the skeleton before it goes down. Bone chips. Money in the bank right there. Let's see, Rusty Halberd. Don't need any of that, just extra weight. And as a cleric, I don't really loot too often here. And of course, I'll come here with my paladin probably, and do some hunting here and show you guys how to pull the rooms, and I'll do a little bit more looting with that guy, because as a cleric, for me anyways, I usually don't get up unless it involves casting a spell. And the moment I'm done casting that spell, I go ahead and sit back down. And the reason behind it is people's lives are in your hands, and basically the only thing that stops you from saving somebody is power. So power is paramount, and every moment that you're standing when you could be meditating means that when that really worst case scenario happens, and it happens from time to time, where you need that extra just sliver of power, you may not have it because you were standing up for too long. It seems silly, and it seems like, oh, why are you that obsessed with sitting down every chance I get? But it really does play a difference. Like I said, in other games, the variations between having, 1,500 stamina on an item and it barely being able to compete with the creatures you're fighting, and in this game, when you get an increase, it's something like, 1 strength or 2 strength or something like that, and it makes a huge difference. So every little bit matters, even in power. Every little sliver quite literally can mean life and death in this game. So don't have that yet. I'm on level 13. Can I get dance for haste? I don't know what dance is. Dance is, maybe it's a buff. Dance of the Wolf maybe, or something along those lines. And you can see ZK is sending me a tell. That's, you guys have seen some videos from him in the past where the two of us have gone out and done Befallen. So yeah, he wants to talk about Valicious on the next couple videos that we do together. And that's going to be a huge, huge topic because it's an expansion that quite literally adds quite a bit. And I don't know, I just don't know where to start on that topic. I think that's one of the hard things to pick on any topic in this game, is it's just so big. Winter is coming. I think it's probably copyrighted, but I'll think about it and see what we can do with that. It's kind of interesting title, kind of a play on words because of Game of Thrones and stuff, but I'd prefer to stay away from it, to be honest, just because it seems like a copyright infringement ripoff of something else, more than it doesn't really seem like a montage, you know, or a tribute to the series, because it really has nothing to do with what we're doing right here. But it's an interesting take on it, and I'll have to think about it, I guess. Let me tell him. But you can see the experience is not bad at all. And of course, you get an experience bonus for having 6 people in your group rather than just 5 or 4 and things of that sort. You could actually get more experience for having a full group. So if you're in here in a zone and you see that there's somebody looking for a group, you're more than better off, chances are, to invite them in. Pull for a second, I need a break. But there are some issues you may have to run into, like I said before, paladins have a negative connotation with the experience penalties that you incur by having one in your group. I think rangers have one as well, and I also heard that in a lot of groups they don't want necros to have their pet, because the necro's pet actually steals a little bit of the experience, and so you'll have it where they actually tell you to get rid of your pet and just be basically a caster. You're just a dotter. You do some serious damage that way. So I don't know. It's just, if you're very in depth and you know a lot of those details, you can decide, oh, we'll pick this class over that class. For me, because I'm just here for the fun of it, and I don't really want to rush through the levels too quickly. If there's somebody there around my level that's looking for a group, I'll invite them in if I have the space. I don't care if they're the 3rd or 4th or 5th cleric that we got. We'll find a way to make it work, you know, because I've been on the other side of that, where I'm sitting at the entrance and there's a group that has 2 spots open, but they don't want another cleric. They already have, you know, maybe 2 clerics. They don't want a 3rd one. And I'll sit there for 40 minutes and they're still looking for more people, and I'm like, I understand if you invite me into the group with the little caveat that if you find somebody better, you're going to replace me, that I'll have to leave the group. I'll accept that. A lot of people will accept that if you tell them early on, be like, hey, you know, we got the space right now, but we need more DPS. And so if another DPS comes in here looking for a group, we'll have to let you go. But if you want to join us for, you know, the next 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever, until we find somebody, you're more than welcome to. And in that situation, that would be pretty nice, because a lot of the times they'll be looking for somebody and an hour will go by, an hour and a half will go by, and they still haven't gotten anybody. That means for an hour and a half, I could have been making experience, and they could have been killing a little bit easier. Maybe not a whole lot easier. I may have not have brought that much to the table, but it would have been a little bit easier. And I just think it's a waste to not share that experience and that time with somebody, you know, just because you want to have the perfect group every single time. I mean, it's understandable if the room is too hard for you to take and you have to have that perfect group, but if you're already in the room and you're already killing and you're already doing pretty well, for you to deny another train. But if you deny somebody the ability to get experience simply because you're trying to outfit, you know, it down to the standards, the high standards that you have, that's just a little crazy. Don't do it. Because that's what I say every single time a train happens is, yeah, I'm going to will it to stop. Because that's a possibility. Let's see what this ghoul has. Oh, too far away from it. Because he's going to loot everything. That's cool. It's fine with me. I just wanted to see what it had, and it shows me what he has right here. The Rune of Neglect. And you'll find a lot of runes here. As I said before, if you're looking for pages, this is a pretty good zone. There might be other better zones out there, but this one seems pretty good. I found quite a few here already. I got Words of Possession, Words of Tyranny, Words of the Element, Words of Absolution, whatever. Words of, yeah. I can't read today. And you got several different runes. Of course, different pages. Pages, again, are for enchanters. Bone chips for necromancers. I don't know why I have 2 stacks. Bone chips and dark bone marrow. Seriously? What is that? Is that for a quest or something? I don't think I've ever seen dark bone marrow bone chips before. Class all, race all, weight is 0.1, size is tiny. That's basically what bone chips are. Yeah, I don't know what the difference between dark bone marrow and just regular bone chips. I mean, even at higher levels, you still use just regular bone chips to cast your. Oh crap! No, don't die! Don't die! No! Oh wow! Heal! Unbelievable! That sucked. What happened to our other cleric? Why didn't he heal? Oh, I'm doing so horrible as a healer today. This sucks. Now let me go ahead and heal Poochie. He went down so quick. I probably could have kept him up if I had been paying attention from the start, but... And of course, we probably would have been fine if the other cleric had tossed a heal on right at the very end as well, but he didn't, and I didn't, so... 3x resist. Oh, Greater Fey, that's a long run. It's not as long as, like, from Freeport or anything like that, but it's not a pretty run either. Oh great, I'm rooted. No, get off of me, punk. Well, at least I'm rooted over here and not someplace incredibly horrible like the very middle of the room. Let's see, opal earrings. Switching for res. He'll stop running then. Oh, for resist, I heard charisma's pretty nice. That the higher your charisma, the less you get resisted. I don't know if that just works for enchanters, though. I think it works for everybody. Yeah, so I guess we're going to go ahead and take a break here while one of our guys switches over to his cleric, and our other one is rezzed. And I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, subscribe. Definitely helps grow my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to leave them below. And thanks again for watching, guys.